Hi, fellow traders. I hope everybody had a good day today. I've got a couple of small account trades that I was able to catch on tape today. It started out slow. I almost shut this off again. Like I did yesterday, I just shut it off when I realized it just wasn't any good setups and didn't really think the market was going to give anything today. But I kept it up and was able to catch some secondary moves here. So what I'm looking at here, there was a level at 3609 on ETP. And let me see if I can bring that up, give you an idea of what it looked like. Wrong one, ETP. All right, and this is the level that I was looking at. We missed this move down. It tried to reverse, but I was looking for it to fail. The market was selling and I wasn't going long. I had pretty much told myself, yesterday I made a mistake of going long, and I said I wasn't going to go long today. So I didn't take this reversal. This was on the reversal scan for a bottom reversal. I didn't take it, but I did take the rejection here. And that's the first trade I took. And the second trade, was another rejection, but I don't have the level marked. I can't remember if I added it or not, but this is a level that I was basing the trade off of, this 3609. All right, so let's go ahead and start it. All right, so you're going to see I'm looking at getting in here at 35.99 or around that time. I'm trying to time it with the level 2 here, because I'm going short. I'm going to have to, sell it. I'm going to have to hit the bid. So I changed it. It was bid in 94, so I changed it to 94. We got a little pop up, which, a lot of times that will happen. Rarely will you get in a trade and it automatically goes your way. It happens sometimes because I wait for confirmation, but it doesn't always do that. And you see, the 2-minute chart, you can see it started to roll over here. 5-minute, this is the 20 moving average here. And we were just under the 9 moving average on the 5-minute chart there. And so you see it's 12:03 now. So I want you to see, how long this thing it took to really resolve. We're still fighting. It's at 36, and it's a whole number. And a lot of times a trade will get hung up at a whole number. So I knew that going in, that taking a trade right around the whole number, even though I took it just under it, it does have some gravity. So it will pull it down and it will pull it back up, and it will keep the stock in its vicinity as long as it can, because a whole number is a supply zone. You're going to run into buyers and sellers, and there's going to be a battle most of the time. But this one, you can see we're at 12.12 now. They're still battling. 36 really hasn't cracked yet. And now we're at 12.28. And let me see. I don't want to go too far. I want you to see the crack here. All right, here's a 35.98. We're still around 36. It's still, hanging around this. But the reason I'm still in this, a lot of times they say, consolidation is a sign of strength. But as long as that level, that 3609 level hasn't broken, I'm going to hang on to the trade. That's the technical level that my trade is based off of. If I lost that level, my trade plan is dead. So I'm still sitting, through this. I'm patiently waiting. Sometimes you just have to have patience with these. As long as your stop hasn't been hit, your technical levels are holding, and the price action is relatively stable, you stay in that trade and you give it time to work. Here I'm most of the time I'm sitting here, I'm 10 cents to the bad now. It's at 3604, my entry is 3504. But it hasn't broken my technical level. So 10 cents doesn't really mean anything to me. And I want you to see, I'm playing this out because I want you to see the breakdown. And the whole time I'm watching level 2 and I'm watching time and sales. I'm watching, how many orders we get over here and how many red prints hit as they take these orders out. Because every time this 3602 gets hit, it prints red. And then anytime this side gets hit, it's going to print green. So I'm watching, I watch both of these because you'll notice sometimes if you watch level 2, you'll see some big orders flash and then disappear. Or you'll see like 36 here and you just continue to see 36 prints, but that number never changes. So you'll know that there are hidden sellers, that there's a lot of orders out there at a particular price and it's not showing up on level 2, but you'll get an idea that something's going on behind the scenes. So that may make you want to get out. It'll make you more cautious. But whatever the case is, you want to make sure that you see that. And I like to have a rhythm and a feel for the stock. I traded this yesterday out of my other account. So I've got a feel for how this thing trades. So I know, I'm going to get some swings and, it may take a little bit, but all I see is this stock trending down. So now we're back, right around my entry. So if I wanted to get out at break even, I could just buy and get out. But like I said, my technical level has not broken. So the trade is still in play. My trade plan is still in play. And you have to stick to, especially when you have a small account. I know when you have a small account, you think small, and a lot of times that messes with you and you don't want to take a loss. So if something's not resolving immediately, you're going to take it off. And you don't want to do that. You have to build up that confidence in yourself, that you're confident in your setup, you're confident in your levels. And you saw the crack right there. We finally got the crack. We got below 35.90 and it's starting to work. But you've got to have confidence in your setup, and you build that, and hopefully you build that through working in the simulator. I built my confidence working doing on demand, at night. That's how I built my confidence. Yeah, we're getting some moves down. Really, as this is selling off, you're gonna see buyers come in, but they'll quickly get taken out if this thing is really selling off. And you're gonna see big orders, like we got this big order here at 85. That might push the price up a little bit. But once these get taken out, it's going to go up and down. And once this order gets taken out, then you'll get the next move down. And that's what we're looking for here. I'm not looking for 8 cents. I'm looking for a little bit more than that. In this case, I'm trying to get down to, I want to take it off at 37.50 in the 37.50s, because the $half mark, that's another supply zone where we'll run into more buyers and sellers. But I'm also watching level 2, because if I notice a shift in the orders, if I see a lot of people starting to stack up over here on the bid, then I'm going to get out, because that tells me that this thing may be getting ready to bounce. If I was in a bigger account and I had enough room to take half off, then I would take half off and then leave the other half on for the rest of the move. But when you're trading in a small account, you have to make sure you lock in some profit. So if a stock has made a big enough move to where you can make 5 or 6 times your commission costs, then you need to book profit, because you can always hit the reset button if you need to. And on this other trade that I took, on this trade, I could have hit the reset button. But you'll see in a minute, eventually, I'm going to see stuff in level 2 that I don't want to see. And I'm going to go ahead and click it. Because right now, it's starting to grind right here. And I don't want it to grind back up without me taking profit down here. Because right now, I almost have 20 cents. Right now, I'm 20 cents. I was 20 cents to the good. So, but it popped back up on me. But, I'm looking at taking it off. At this point, I'm looking at taking it off, because it's had a lot of trouble around this area here, 35.75. And at this, I don't know how much money I've made or anything. I really don't know. But I know that this stock is having a little bit of issue here. As we get down in price, I'm getting more and more orders coming in on the bid. So they're starting to outweigh the sellers here on the ask. So I believe, because if I was in it, I'd be clicking it now. And I'm thinking at this point, I'm looking at taking it off. Yep. You see where I saw it when it got up to 74, I went ahead and took it off because I started seeing this thing get ready to stack up. And I believe this pushes back up. Let me fast forward it a little bit. I might not have the whole thing on here. Okay, this is the daily. This is where I found my levels. All right, we'll look at it later. But there was another trade I took. Let me fast forward this. Okay, I'm hitting the reset button here. Really, this trade, I was late taking it, because I should have taken this off the VWAP. No, I had this ticker was still up, and I was watching it for a secondary move. Here's the trade I took here. I got in here, got out there. This candle is the candle that had me take it off. Now you can see it tested and failed a 9 again. I could have easily reset, got back in here, and completed the move down that I was looking for. I could have easily done that, but I didn't. I think it was around lunchtime anyway. So as soon as I got out of that, I had to grab my lunch. But this was a good reset opportunity. And this is what I mean by you can take the trade off. You get a pullback and it tests a level, a technical level that you're using to manage the trade with. If it fails to push through it, you can hit the reset button and take another trade on it. And this would have been another nice, fade, and we got to move down here. So in this case, it just came back and it retested the VWAP. Now there was the 9 and the 20 pretty close to it, so I wasn't sure whether I really wanted to take this or not because of the moving averages being so close. So I actually waited for it to lose the moving averages before I got in. So I did get a little late entry on this, and I'm going to enter here in a minute. I'm at this point I'm looking at level 2. I'm trying to time, because when I'm selling short, I'm going to sell on the bid. So my order that I put in is going to be put in on the bid. All right, so now I'm changing it. I'm trying to line my order up over here with the bid so that as soon as I get in, I'll get filled. It's almost like using a market order, but I'm using the bid price. And that's what I'm doing. I'm chasing the bid up because I'm getting ready to enter. I'm trying to find the best spot to enter in. I'm thinking it's going to get back up there. And this is how I end up missing my trade sometimes, because I'm sitting here playing, trying to get 2 and 3 cents. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it worked. I didn't lose the trade. But I'm still sitting here fumbling around trying to get, an entry as high as possible. I don't know why I do that. It's just dumb. And you shouldn't do that. But some days I do. And so I use a limit order to get in, but I always change it to market because, for some reason in SureTrader, when I put a limit order in, it takes a long time for it to get filled. And sometimes it misses my fill price. So I have to go with a market order, but I'm trading small enough shares. You see, I'm using 400 shares, and it's small enough to where I wait. Like if I'm going to sell to cover this position, I'm going to wait until till it gets to where I want to, the price I want on the ask, and then I mark it out because it's going to hit the ask. So if I wanted to get out at 74 and I've got all of these orders at 74, it'd be safe for me to click buy and I get out at 74 because it's going to hit the first one it comes to. Now, if there was one order like here, if it was one order for 73 and then the rest was 78 and I hit a market order, most likely it's going to hit 78 because that 72 is probably going to get pulled or either taken out before I even get to it. So I always make sure that if there's a price I want to get out at, like 72 here, that there's enough orders pending from multiple market makers so I don't have any trouble getting out. or my order won't be split into 3 orders, and then I get charged 3 commission fees. And SureTrader will do that to you. Okay, here again, I'm being patient. The stock is well below the 9 and the 20 here. When that's on the 5 minute, I mean the 2 minute. It's below the 9 and the 20 here on the 5 minute. So we're in good shape. Now I'm using these moving averages as my stop. Anything over those moving averages, I will stop out. And my target on this one, again, is 35.50. I'm looking for 35.50s. See, we're starting to get the crack here. And again, I know how this stock trades. You know, I traded it yesterday, and it traded today pretty much the same way. You'll get some infighting back and forth, and then you'll get a nice drop. You'll get a little infighting, and then you get a nice drop. So that's what I'm looking for. You know, that's if it just washed out without any, you know, back and forth, I may hold it a little bit longer just to see how far it went. But if I'm getting the same price action where, you know, I'm getting a back and forth between, you know, 5 and 10 cents, then I'm good with that. That's the action that I was used to the day before. And that's another thing that, you know, we try to tell you, you want to get the rhythm of your stock. You want to understand how your stock trades. You know, and sometimes if you're trading, you're doing a gap and go, you may not have enough time to get a feel for your stock. So in that case, you're trading momentum. You're not trading the price action or the feel of the stock. But when you're trading like this, you're getting a feel for the price action. You're not looking for quick pops or quick fades. You're looking to trade, you know, a trend. And I like trading trends. I like looking and picking a trend and getting in it and riding it as far as the trend takes me. And in this case, this is what I'm doing right now. And so now, you know, I feel pretty good now because I about have 10 cents, almost have 10 cents in the books. And anytime I can get 10 cents on a 400 or 500 share position, I'm not going to cry if the trade starts acting stupid. See, we're getting some nice moves down now. And remember, I'm looking to get out in the 50s because that's the next supply zone. And with the small account, you're not trying to get the exact top or the exact bottom. Even though what I was doing earlier was exactly that, I was trying to get hit the exact top. That's stupid because you end up missing so many trades. So don't do that. I kind of caught myself and then just went ahead and got in. But don't do that because that's what gets me out of these trades. And that's what gets me missing trades. You know, doing stupid stuff like that. So the trend is still working. And I'm getting close to getting it off because, you know, we're down here near 50. And that's what I'm looking for. I think at this point I may be looking waiting for 52, just to get 20 cents or something like that. But, I know it's going to go lower. I just don't, I'm not going to sit here and worry about bottom ticking it. It's hitting my target at 35.50, and I kind of wait to see what happens with it. What's it going to do? Is it going to continue to wash, or is it going to sit here and grind around that number? And right now, it's looking like it's grinding around that number. I'm looking over here at how many buyers are coming in. And when I start to see the amount of buyers overtake the amount of sellers, I get out. So I got out right there at 49. And you can see, I drew this trend line in here. That was my target. And this is my P&L after commissions and everything. So we picked up $150 trading this one ticker twice. And we didn't take the whole move. We got, the meat of the move. We got the majority of the move. There was still more left here, but that's fine. We booked profit here, and then we booked profit here. Here's the move on the 2-minute. And we've got a nice profit, and you can't beat that. Find 2 or 3 tickers a day that you can trade, catch the reset, and trade again. You're going to build your account in no time. And then, like I said, once my account gets up high enough to where I can take more size, I could have taken 500 shares here in this stock and taken half off here and then left half on. But I didn't take 500 shares. I only took 400. But the thing is, once you start getting comfortable taking larger positions, then you can start scaling out once, taking half off, which you can book some profit, and you can leave the other half on to see if you get the second part of the move. But the key is you want to book profits. In a small account, it doesn't matter if you were up 25 cents and then you went back and you stopped out. If you're in a small account, you got to take that 25 cents. Some people tell you if you're in a small account, you don't think small. You still have to think big. Well, when you think big, you're going to lose all your money. You have to think based on the way your account size. You have to think small. And as you keep hitting these base hits and your account keeps growing, before you know it, you'll have 5,000 in it, and then you'll have 6,000 in it, then you'll have 7,000 in it, and then you're able to take bigger size. You're comfortable with it now, and you can scale out. You can take half off at first target, half off at second target. You'll start making more money. And it's just a gradual growing process. Yes, you're going to reach a point where you're not comfortable getting any larger. I'm at that point now. I feel comfortable where I'm at. In my other account, I'm comfortable taking 1,000 shares and scaling out 3 or 4 times. But I tried taking some 2,000 share positions, and I can take 1,200 share positions and be okay. But I know my comfort level, and I try to stay within that comfort zone, and that's what you have to do, especially when you're trading with a small account. But that's all for me today. I just wanted to share that with you, and I hope everybody has a great night, a great evening, and we will see you bright and early tomorrow in chat.